Good afternoon. This is John Daly, and today we're going to talk about how to stand out. And this course is going to show you how to outshine your competition. We're going to talk about several different things. One is to take responsibility, always be involved, be reliable, be respectful, display exemplary ethical standards, very important. Display a can-do attitude, display leadership qualities, be genuine, show gratitude, be independent, be humble, dress well, and maintain good hygiene. These are some of the things that we're going to talk about and more today in our class. Taking responsibility. Before you even go to the job interview, you want to learn about the company. And so you'll have all this knowledge once you start to work for a company. But what you want to do is learn about the company, go online and find out a minimum of 3 things that you did not know about the company prior to going online. And learn the mission statement. Look up the mission statement of the company that you're hoping to go to work for or that you work for. And make sure that you memorize that, not memorize it, but know it really well enough that you can act as though you understand what the company is all about. A mission statement is the core responsibility or core values of what a company is all about. And you want to learn that. While you're doing your search about the company, you're going to learn, industry lingo. And that means different industries have different languages that they talk about. And so you want to make sure that you are talking about the company and their industry with knowledge. Smile. You want to smile. Go above and beyond. Always work like you're the owner of the company, not just an employee. An owner of a company acts differently than an employee because you're taking responsibility and you'll take action. And that's an important thing. Don't let things just stop. Clear decision maker, quick on your feet. Now, I will tell you a story of somebody that has not been responsible with me. I've just ordered some product from a company last October. I ordered the product so I would be sure and have it. And they're little pin frogs, and pin frogs are used to arrange flowers in. And I'm doing some centerpieces for an event. And so I ordered these pin frogs on October the 27th to make sure that I would have them. And they explained to me that they had 50 of them for me. And I waited for the delivery of them and I didn't get a delivery. And I finally called today and they said, well, we pulled the order for you, but we only have 21. And I thought, when were you going to call me and tell me that you only have 21 so I can do something about this? So they were not working like they were the owner of the company. The owner of the company would have never done that. They would have called me and said, we cannot fill your order completely. Go ahead and try and find some other places. So it's very important that all those things, that you are taking care of your client or your customer the same way as a boss would. Always be involved, never stand still. When I talked to this girl today, she got involved right away and she was on it. And she went around and she found as many as she could of the pin frogs. And that's it. She called me back within a half hour and told me where we were at with it. And so she was on it. She was on it. It was really important. Always have a project going. If you don't have something going in your office that you've run out of things to do, find something else to do. Don't stand around. Never stand still. Take initiative. Come up with something else that you want to do, something that needs to be done. There's always things to be done in every office setting or every retail setting or wherever you work, every work setting, there's always things that need to be done. Ask others if they need help. If you have time on your hands and you can give someone help, do that. Give them help. Give your opinion when asked for your opinion. Don't be giving your opinion every time your boss or your superior opens up their mouth and they say something. You don't want to say, may I make a suggestion? Or could we do it this way instead? Give your opinion if you're asked for your opinion. Share your experiences. Maybe you have an experience with a problem or a circumstance that comes up at work. Maybe you have experience with something like that. And what you'd be able to do is answer questions that would be helpful. And that's giving your opinion, I know, and that's great there as in that example. You want to work as a team. It's very important to work as a team. Everybody around you, you can all strengthen each other. Don't be working against each other, and be a part of a solution. Instead of a problem, be a part of a solution. And sometimes you may have to do some creative thinking around whatever the problem or whatever you're up against, whatever the circumstance might be. So just get involved. It's very important. Be reliable. Do what you say you're going to do. Now, here is an example of what happened with, once again, go back to that pin frog story. They said that they pulled my order and while I was on the phone, and they did not pull it. And so they say what you mean and mean what you say. They said that they had everything that I needed, but they didn't. And so it makes me now more suspicious when I'm dealing with that company that they're filling my order and really filling my order. So you don't want that. Be on time. Be on time to work, to an interview or whatever. In the industry of working, being on time means being 5 minutes early. You want to make sure that you're 5 minutes early to an appointment. You don't want to get in there 20 minutes early because then the people feel as though they're being rushed. So if you arrive at your destination, where if you're going for a job interview and you arrive at the destination a good 15 minutes ahead of time, which is a good idea if you've never been to the company, don't go into the company right away. Wait for 5 minutes. I mean, wait until it's 5 minutes early and go in. When you go into your job interview, the minute you open the door, your interview starts. So don't be on your phone. Shut your phone off. Don't have it on vibrate. Shut your phone off and don't let it disturb you in any way, shape, or form. Because what will happen is it's going to go off, the vibration or whatever, or your phone is going to ring, and it's going to distract you, and it could distract you right in the middle of a very important part of what you're talking about. So be careful with that. Meet deadlines. If they tell you that they need your resume by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 days before the interview, make sure that it's there by even before that. You want to make sure that you are above and beyond the other people that are working or that are applying for the job. Keep your word. If you say you're going to do it, do it. That's just what I said right at the very beginning here. Do what you say and say what you mean, or say what you mean and mean what you say. Do quality work. When you do get your job, you want to make sure that what you're doing is absolute perfection. It's not okay. Okay is the enemy of perfect. And so you want things to be perfect. You don't want them to be just okay and acceptable. Other people can do acceptable work, but you need to do perfect work. Be dependable and learn how to say no. Don't bite off more than you can chew. If you've been asked to do something and it's too much on your plate, say so. Say, I can't do that. I can do it, but I will get to it next week or tomorrow. Don't bite off more than you can chew, because all it's going to do is end up hurting you in the end. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have all this work in front of you, and you're not going to have time to do it all well and perfect. And you don't want that to happen. And you don't want the stress of having that happen either. So learn to say no. Be respectful. Call people by their surname until invited to use their first name. So if you were to meet me for the first time, you would address me as Mr. Daly. And I would most likely say, oh, please call me John. But until I invite you to call me by my first name, call them by their last name. It's just an important, it's just being respectful. That's what it is. And you want to be respectful and stand out from once again, from the rest of the crowd. Look people in the eyes. It is so important that you look people in the eyes when you are talking to them. It's a whole matter of trust. It has a lot to do with trust. If people don't see you as, if people aren't looking you in the eye and you're looking around and all around them and at the next person coming into the room or whatever, they don't feel as though they can trust you. And they think that it just comes across as almost sneaky. So you want to be careful from that. Give a good, solid handshake when you meet someone. And when I say a good, solid handshake, I mean web to web on the hands and squeeze. Don't give that dead fish handshake where there's just nothing there. You want to shake a person's hand and squeeze it, not to hurt them, but to show that you have confidence in yourself. Do not interrupt other people while they're speaking. When people are speaking, listen. It's more important to listen to what they have to say than to be jumping on top of their line. Maybe they're going to tell you the thing that you're getting ready to ask about or overtalk them about. So let them speak and don't be thinking about how you're going to answer the question all the time and not listening to what they're saying, because you're liable to mess up and say the wrong thing. So don't interrupt others while speaking. Say please and say thank you. I know it seems just like everybody would know that, but a lot of people don't. So if someone would offer you coffee or a glass of water when you arrived, you would say yes, please, or no, thank you. You want to make sure that you do that. You want to be considerate of other people's times. And that's also has to do with being on time. If you're not on time, you're basically telling the person that you don't care about them. Now, granted, there are exceptions to the rule where you just can't get around it, like if you're stuck in traffic or something. But you always should try and figure out before you go someplace what traffic could be like on the worst possible day, and leaving enough time that you can make up for it and still be there 5 minutes early. Be courteous, and that's once again being considerate. It's the same thing, being courteous and being considerate of others' time, and come across with a positive attitude. Don't come across with a negative attitude. You want to have open-mindedness, because you don't know what other people are going through. I believe in a saying very, very much that everybody is fighting a battle that we know nothing about. And that means that when people approach you, remember they have other things going on in their life. And if somebody is having a bad day and they haven't told you that, but they're having a bad day and they seem grumpy, maybe they have something that has happened to them that has been unfortunate. And you have to just be open-minded about that and try and show support. Supportiveness is a very important thing with other employees. If you, back to the open-mindedness, if you have a bad day, let your coworkers know, I'm sorry, I have a headache today. Please know that it has nothing to do with you. It's that I've got a headache and I've taken some aspirin and I'm hoping to get over it. Let them know that it's not them necessarily that is the problem. Ethical standards are a set of principles established by the founders of the organization to communicate its underlying moral values. This code provides a framework that can be used as a reference for decision-making processes. So when you know what the ethical standards are, and that will usually be found in the mission statement, you're going to know what their ethical standards are all about. What you want to do is make sure that you work within those ethical standards, because if you don't, that's the way that you can lose a job. If you do, and always make sure that you do a good job with that, then you can be sure that people are going to notice it and they're going to feel that you are above and beyond what the other people are in the building, in the office, or the workplace, I should say. Display exemplary ethical standards. Always be honest. If you don't go into work because you're sick, then watch out. Don't go out for lunch that day with a friend, because you're liable to run into a coworker. And that would be a terrible thing. because you're not being honest. That's why. Or don't say things that make you look better, just that are lies, because it will come out in the end. It always does, always will. So you need to be careful. If you have something wonderful that's happened, share the triumph with others. They will like that very much in the office or in the workplace. Other people will love to share your triumphs. Be loyal to your boss at all times. Don't badmouth your boss behind his back. It's a very bad thing to do. If you're doing it with other employees or other employees are doing it with you, don't waste the company time by chattering and having gossiping about the boss. Very bad thing to have that kind of thing going on. So let's look at ethics and look at the things that surround ethics. Truthful and honest, abide by the rules and the law, respect for others, respect for the property of others. And you want to be independent of everybody else. I mean, work as a team, but be independent enough that you can move forward if you don't have your team behind you, or you got your team behind you, but don't lag on your part of working with a team. Display a can-do attitude. We got our little guy down at the bottom here saying, yes, I can. And never say no right away. I said before that you want to learn to say no if you've got too much on your plate, but you don't have to say no, just say, well, you can say, no, I can't get to it right now, but I will get to it for you at another time or whenever you could possibly do it. Always look at the end result. That's what I mean by never saying no. When you don't want to say no right away, the minute it comes out of their mouth, a request, because you want to look at the end result before starting. So keep a positive attitude. If you have a conflict, offer a solution. Volunteer to do whatever it takes to make a great job a great job. Volunteer for it. And if you have a conflict, then what you need to do before you start to approach that person about the conflict, or before you do approach the person about the conflict of whatever's going on, have a solution. Have a solution for that before you start a conversation. It makes a big difference. Display leadership qualities. Take the initiative to make a decision. Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than ask for permission. So in other words, you might have to make a decision if your boss isn't around, or you don't want to ask your boss about every little thing. Make a decision to move forward. And if you're in the manager position of people, delegate tasks to people. Let other people help you be the best possible you can be. And that's delegating. That's not giving up control. That's actually adding control. If you're a control freak or a person that wants to be in control of everything, you're delegating, and what you're doing is you're making sure that the job is going along great, and delegating the tasks really help you come across as being the person to run the job correctly. Take control when necessary, but not always. When necessary, though, take control and be reliable. Be early with any deadlines you have, or be early in the morning to work, and stay late if you have to. And don't complain about having to stay late. It's very important that people know that you're on board and you're part of the team, that you're really part of the team and want to make this the best possible project that you can make. Okay? Be genuine, be real, be kind, be compassionate, be resourceful, be empathetic, be truthful, and be vulnerable. So when I say all those things, it means being real, being a real person. Don't say things just to say things. Be genuine. Be kind to people. It's much easier to be kind than it is to be not kind, to be nasty, because you have to think about that more so than being kind. Being compassionate when somebody is having a problem or whatever that problem may be compassionate about it and understand how they feel, or do your best to understand. And maybe you don't want to talk to them about it, but what you can do is you can hello, how are you? I have to go back to my screen. Just one moment. I'm sorry. We got messed up here. So we were talking about being real and being compassionate and being resourceful and being empathetic. You want to be empathetic to a person's problems or whatever might be going on with them. Think about, when I say be compassionate before, think about what somebody else is going through. And as I said earlier in the lesson, remember that everybody has a battle that we know nothing about that they're fighting. And so you want to be empathetic about that. Be truthful. And if something is getting in the way, be honest and say, do you know, we've got a problem here because of whatever might be going on. It's not a bad thing to do that. Be vulnerable. Being vulnerable is a very important thing to do, and that it means being open and ready for competition. If somebody has is going to ask you something, be open and ready for whatever the answer may be. Be vulnerable and be genuine at the same time. Vulnerable people, it's like a dog. When you've got a dog that rolls over on its back and wants you to rub its tummy, that's being very vulnerable, because that dog doesn't know whether you're going to hurt it or you're going to be kind to it. And when you're vulnerable, you don't know whether somebody is going to hurt you or is going to help you. It's very, very important to be vulnerable. Do you have a question? Does anybody have any questions on this so far? Gratitude. Be thankful when people help you. Show gratitude that you have the job to begin with. Recognize those that have helped you along the way. It's very important to show gratitude because not everybody has a job. And you should be thankful that you have a job when you do have one, and show the gratitude that you have the job and that you were chosen to be on a certain project or whatever. Recognize those that have helped you and show appreciation through your actions, not just words. Your actions, it's kind of like I've talked about before, body language in communication. Body language says 93% more of what you are communicating than what comes out of your mouth, your voice. Acknowledging others for completing tasks. If you've delegated, as we were talking earlier, if you've delegated tasks to other people and they've done them well, then let them know that you appreciate them. It's important to let people know that you appreciate them. Be independent. Don't wait for every single thing to be told to you by your superior. Have a plan. Understand your plan and talk it over with your superior if you need to, but be able to communicate, be able to communicate your plan to other people. I'll tell you a story that's interesting.
Hey, eso es lo que deben de oír ustedes.
Hello? Hello? Be able to communicate your plan to others. Luz? Hello? Execute your plan. Be able to communicate your plan to others and let people know. An idea is a person that the boss says to everybody, I want to thank you very much for the good job that you have done. And we've got through this project and I want to take you all out to dinner. And so you say that you're going to take them out to dinner. The boss says he's going to take you out to dinner and he said, I'll meet you there at 6 o'clock. But the boss leaves and he never says where he's going to go. And so the employees are wondering where they should go for dinner. And they drive around, they check out his favorite restaurant. He's not there. They are trying to figure out where he is. And he's sitting in a restaurant wondering where everybody else is. He invited everybody to dinner and they're not showing up. But he's getting angry because they're not there. And they're getting angry and frustrated because they're running around looking for where he was. And they never found out. And the next day, the boss came in and was very, very angry and told everybody that he was angry that he invited everybody to dinner and they didn't show up. And he had never told them where to go. So if you can't communicate your plan to other people, how can you expect them to do what the end result is? Help without being asked. You don't want to have to be asked every time somebody needs help. Sometimes you can just see that somebody is overworked and or having a problem. Know the overall result to be achieved because the plan was communicated to you, and then go after it. Remember, a job worth doing is worth doing well. So whenever you're going to be on a job, you want to make sure that you've done the best possible job you could do. Be humble. Don't act better than. not any better than anybody else. Say thank you when someone compliments you. Stay grounded. It's very important that you don't fly up and think that you're really something. If you've done a great project, don't think that you can kick back and not continue doing great projects. You're only as good as your last project. So stay grounded. Everyone has different strengths. Remember that. And take advantage of other people's strengths, whatever they could possibly be. Yes, Louise. Luz. I thought you were typing me a message. Did you have a question? Okay. Ask for help when needed and seek feedback for areas of improvement. If you need improvement in something, then definitely ask people what you can do to improve. And that will help you in the work in the workplace as well as help other people. It's ask for help when needed and seek feedback for areas of improvement. It's very important. Dressing well. Dressing well does not mean expensive. It means just dressing well and keeping outfits together, looking nice, looking for the occasion, dressing well for the occasion. If you're at work and you are having people in your office wear coat and tie and or not office necessarily, but in your workplace, if they wear a coat and tie, or the ladies wear dresses instead of slacks, dress for that occasion and research the company's dress code before interviewing. And you can do that easily by going online. When you go to your job interview, dress to fit in with the culture. You want to be a part of the company culture before even arriving and being a part of the company. You want to look as though you are part of it. Dress for the job that you want, not the one that you have. So if everybody else is dressing business casual and you want to step it up a little bit, that's great. You don't have to. But look at Coco Chanel had to say, being well-dressed is a beautiful form of politeness. And it is. It's a very wonderful thing. So always dress for the job. Maintain good hygiene. Clean and styled hair. Brush your teeth. Make sure your mouth is clean. And wear deodorant. And do not wear cologne or perfume. The reason you don't wear cologne or perfume is because people are allergic a lot of times, and also our brains are set up in such a way that wearing cologne, if we smell something, we go right to our memory. And if somebody walks in and wearing a cologne that, for instance, my mother wore a cologne for years, all the time I was growing up, that was called Taboo. And it was a wonderful perfume, but if I am walking down the street and somebody is wearing Taboo on the same side of the street, I can smell it. I just perk right up and I go right to my mother. And fortunately, I have a great or had a great relationship with my mother. And so it brings back happy memories. But assuming that if I didn't have happy memories with my mother, that would turn against the person that was wearing that. It's just not even consciously, it just happens. Make sure that your hands are clean and your nails are clean. Always make sure that the first thing that a person is going to look at when they interview you is your hands. And be careful that they look clean. And if they're stained, you can just dip them in a little bit of water and bleach, a little tiny bleach, and then scrub your hands, and then lemon, and the lemon will take away the smell of the bleach. And also lemon can clean your hand. Make sure your shoes are clean. It's another big thing that people that are doing look at are your shoes. So your hands and your shoes, both very important. If your shoes take a shine, terrific. If they don't take a shine, then if they're a fabric shoe, make sure you've wiped them down. In order to be the best, you have to be the best. In order to be the best, you have to be the best. In other words, you have to work hard and do the very best you can possibly do. Don't be told what to do. Don't wait to be told to do the obvious. You want to definitely do those things before somebody has to ask you. Do the best job you can or someone else will. So if you're not doing the best you can do, remember somebody else will. There are many people out there that would love to have your job. Don't forget it. Be grateful for your job. Don't complain. Don't complain all the time. If there's a problem, have a solution to the problem before you address the problem with your boss. So don't just go in and say, I don't know what to do. Have a plan laid out that you could possibly fix the problem, or conflict, whatever it has to be. And remember, once again, I said before and I'll say it again, that a job worth doing is worth doing well. And be grateful that you have a job. Thank you very much, everybody, for this afternoon. I'd like you to go ahead and today's webinar by clicking the link below. Does anyone have any questions? Do you want to go into the chat box? Or would you unmute yourself and ask any questions? If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Okay, well, with that, please go ahead and tell us what you think of the webinar by clicking the link below. And we will see you the next time. Thank you.